Hey, I wanted to speak tonight about self identity. Because I know a lot of people have issues, and some people don't realize they have issues with who they are. You don't really know who you are until you're put in a certain situation. And for myself, that's what happened. Was when I got saved, I went on this journey for one, I never knew that I was bitter. I didn't know that I was angry for my past relationships. I just thought, or just past hurt, just from my life. Period. I won't even blame it on past relationships. I think I just held on to so much hurt and so much anger that my attitude and the things that I said and some of the things that I did just became normal. It was normal to me to be because that's who I was at the time. So when people used to say stuff, I never knew what they were saying. When they say you had a bad attitude or you got a bad temper or you had a smart mouth or anything like that, I didn't agree with it because I'm like, this is me, this is who I am, accept me for who I am. It took me to get saved and try to come out of that way, out of the ways of what people come out of the ways of the things that people said I was doing, to really be like, dang, I really had a lot of issues. I think of it like and I also noticed that I used to pull in friends and different kind of relationships to fill voids that I had of not having a father, or not having any brothers and sisters, or not having a lot of close friends, because I was always moving. So I felt like I was never a part of an actual friend group, like friendships. I always felt like the third wheel sometimes in friendships or whatever. But I didn't notice any of these things until I just stepped outside of myself and looked back on my life and just realized that I really needed to change. And I think a lot of people, a lot of the times, we do that and without noticing. Even just in relationships, I wanted myself to be seen so bad that I would just do anything. Like I would question myself, like, how come why am I not being seen as the woman that I know I am? But I didn't even know who I am for this man or my friends to see me. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that we want people to see us as one way, but we don't show ourselves that way a lot of the time. So when we get a response or get a reaction from the way we treat people, when we wonder why we get in that reaction, when that's not who we are, but that's how we present ourselves. So I just wanted to speak about self-identity, and then how we need to stop filling voids with other things and other people, and just fill it with for one, the love of God, but secondly, the love of ourselves. Because if you don't love yourself, you will never love anybody else. If you don't treat yourself and have respect for yourself, you won't have respect for anyone else. And that's just life, because it all starts with self. Everything in this world starts with you first. You are the first thing that you wake up to in the morning. You may be married, but you wake up first. You wake up to yourself first. Don't matter who in the bed with you, next to you, the room next to you, whoever, you wake up to yourself first. And so you have to take control of who you are before you can be a good friend, a good man, a good woman, a good sister, a good brother to anyone else. So I know that in a lot of my relationships, I tried so hard to be seen. I tried so hard for people to see what was inside of me, but sometimes God will hold stuff or not allow things to be seen, because there are some people who you shouldn't give all of yourself to. And we are so quick to give all of ourselves and pour all of ourselves out to certain people and certain relationships that we're in, and that person doesn't deserve it. So I remember my first real relationship. I had gave so much. I was younger and he was a little bit older or whatever, and I just remember being with him, and I just like I worked, I cooked, I cleaned, sexually I fulfilled him, so it's just for him to cheat, I didn't understand it. So I kept on, even after he cheated, like what happened, like what can I do, what am I doing wrong that you're not seeing the good woman inside of me? Why can't you see these qualities? Why can't you see that I have your back? Why can't you see that I'll be there for you? Why can't you see that I'm doing everything that I thought a woman should do? That's everything that I thought a woman should do, not everything that I should have been doing. Because if I had any kind of self-respect and self-worth for myself, if I knew my value, then I wouldn't have went through all of those circles. Sometimes we just try to be seen so much because we are like I said, trying to fill voids. Even my next relationship with my children's father, it was the same thing. I can't blame blame, like, he was the 100% the fault of our relationship, because it was me. I was a broken person. I'm broken going to this and searching and want him to fulfill and live up to expectations that he didn't know about, expectations that he probably couldn't reach because, one, he didn't know about them, and and he didn't know about all of my brokenness. Like, I told him some stuff on the surface, but I didn't go into detail about how not having a family and about how all of this stuff happened to me in my past, how it actually hurt me. So I didn't know, I didn't know what to, how, I didn't I wanted something from him, but couldn't even tell him what it was because I didn't know. And I think a lot of times we go into relationships and we go in and we don't be as honest as we should be. And who knows how honest you should be until you actually know that, get to know that person. But I kept on, instead of, I didn't even know this until I look back on any of my relationships with, friends, or, when I was in an actual relationship. Like, dang, I came searching for so much from people that they shouldn't even have been in my life. I had so many people in and out my life trying to figure out and trying to feel the bond of having a sister, because I never really had sisters. I was adopted, so I had an adopted sister, and I had little, foster sisters, but I never really had that sisterhood bond. So I would go into new job places, or I would go into school, or wherever I would go, or go into new relationships, hoping to build something with their sisters, because that's what I thought it should be. I remember going into a relationship, and I was mad that my ex never introduced me to his friend, to his mother and his father, or his sisters or brothers, or anything like that. I was just so upset. Like, we've been together this long. For one, you haven't said you love me, and we've been together this long. Secondly, you have introduced me to your family in this long. Like, what? And we've been together this long. Like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? How come we're not there? Because I'm basing my relationship off how I think relationships should go. So when I went out of that one with the man who didn't show me or allow me to meet his parents, and went into a relationship where I met his mom and his sister within the first month, and I'm like, oh, well, this means something. This means something to. I must mean something to him for him to show me off like this, to introduce me to people he's close with. And that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything at all. But because I was never once shown how actual relationship worked, I didn't know that wasn't the way that things were supposed to go. So it took me, like I said, from coming out of those relationships and coming out of friendships to realize that I had some things deep inside me that I had to feel. And I had to feel, not a temporary feel, I had to fulfill myself, where I didn't have to have anyone else from the outside come in and try to make me happy and give me joy and give me peace, because they can't give me those things. Only God can. Only God can. I start praying for things that only God can give me and no one can take away. I remember calling my ex and asking him, like, yelling at him, like, why would you take my joy away? Like, why would you take my happiness away? He didn't give it. Why did I give him so much power to feel, like, allow him to feel like he took away anything? But because we don't have because we're not fulfilled, and sometimes we don't know, we look for so much from other people. I remember I was just getting into it with, a few people. So I remember I sent out a text like, listen, I have to take time out for myself. Like, I still love you guys, but I have to figure out who I am so I can stop going back and forth in these friendships. So I can learn myself and stop always going at it with y'all, because it's not, I know it can't, as I may feel that it's just you guys, but I know that it's me. I have to take the blame or take some of the responsibility, because that's just how I have to grow. Like, how can I if we keep getting into it, it's a mixture of both of us. So I sent the text out and said, hey, we can be friends, but I need to fulfill myself. I need to learn how to love God, so then God can teach me how to love myself, so then I can be able to love others and not be expecting things out of a relationship that shouldn't even be there, because everybody that comes to me as a friend is not going to be my sister. We're not going to have these over the top, let's go on vacation every year type friendships and being my bridesmaids at my wedding type relationships. You're just not going to get that out of everyone. But I had to learn that because I was searching for that. I would search like, God, if I got married, who am I going to invite to my wedding? Because I don't have any friends, I don't have any sisters, I don't have any of this. Like, what am I going to do? So I had to learn to just be comfortable where I am in the season that God has me in, and stop looking for people on the outside to give me things that, if somebody gives me something, it's only temporary, because they can take it back once they leave. But if God gives me something, if I learn how to love myself from the inside out, then that's something that no one can take away. So I have came to a place in my life where, one, I'm enjoying being this single woman, being comfortable in my skin, being comfortable with the small group of friends that I have, and just being comfortable with the knowing that God loves me. I've always looked at this scripture. It is Matthew 6:33. This is the King James Version. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things should be added to you. Basically, if you follow the kingdom of God, then everything else in your life will be added to you. But we don't do that. We go out, and then when things go wrong, we seek God. I don't know what this is on this blanket. It's from my kids. I don't want nobody to think it's anything nasty. I don't know. I think it's glue, homemade, whatever stuff. I can't remember what that stuff is called, but it's nothing nasty. But nonetheless, I remember in relationships. I remember in relationships, I would pray for someone, and then when someone close to that who resembled what I prayed for came, then I be with that person, and then a prayer for that person wouldn't come up until I had something wrong, praying to probably get out of it or whatever. But sometimes that's where you have to get to know yourself and know your self-worth, because you will know when God has sent you someone, because I know for a fact, whoever my husband is, with his fine self, yes, Lord, thick self, yes, whoever my husband is, I'm not going to have to show him my light. He'll be able to see it. I'm not going to have to present myself. I won't have to do any of that. I won't have to, do so much to be. Can you see me? He'll be able to see me, because I'll have God's glory shown on the outside of me. That's why I'm so happy I have grown, because I wanted to be seen. I wanted those voids to be filled. I wanted him to see me as the good woman that I know that I am, but I wasn't supposed to be a good woman to him, and that's why he couldn't see it. And that's why the man or the woman you with can't see you, because they're not supposed to see you, because you're not supposed to be with you. We go wrong. What goes wrong in our lives is we self-approve people. They're not God approved. Self-approved and God approved are two different things. Just because you approve somebody for yourself and you be with that person 10, 15, 20, 25 years does not mean that they were God approved. And I've overheard a conversation. I can't remember who it was that I heard this conversation from, but I remember somebody being like together 10, 15. I can't remember how long it was, but it was quite a long time. And they just said they were comfortable. How comfortable can you get with having a repeated cycle of neither one of y'all going anywhere? It's just going in circles. And the biggest thing about being with someone and getting into a relationship, knowing yourself before you get with someone and going into engagement and going into marriage, is you don't want to be in a relationship and grow past somebody. That's the worst thing in the world, to finally you've been in a relationship 5 years and you finally found out who you are, and now you want this person to catch up because you finally found out your purpose, and now y'all not aligned, and now it's nothing but arguments in the house because y'all never was supposed to be together from the first place. But because y'all self-approved them and y'all stamped them good, it didn't get a stamp by God, signed, sealed, and delivered. Now you stuck with this person. So sometimes you have to just sit back and really enjoy being single, find yourself and complete yourself, before you move on and get into a relationship and expect someone else to complete you. Whoever my husband is will add value to me. and help me grow in certain places. Yes, and I will help him grow, but we'll grow spiritually. We'll grow in a lot of areas together. I don't want to grow past him, and then if I feel like I've grown to an area that he will never reach, then why am I'm married to this person already. But if I know myself, if I plant myself and start allowing myself to grow before you get into a relationship, then you guys can grow together. Then God will put you sometimes in your singleness, all those times that you're lonely, all the months that you're lonely, and you're feeling, a little anxious and a little, horny, a little hot and stuff. That's okay. Sometimes God is trying to build you to see something, but you can't see it because you allow those emotions and all those feelings to overcome you, and and allow the devil to sneak in and mess up what God has for you. And I have to bring God in everything that I say. So if I say it too much, I don't know what to tell you, because that's how I believe. I believe God is building me up and keeping me where I'm at. It will not keep me because I'm growing, but end up having me in this season of being comfortable of being single. And I remember I said this a few months ago, like, I'm comfortable being single. God has got me in this place. I'm enjoying it. Yes, Lord, yes. And then a few months, I was like, God, is he up here? Jesus, are you sending my husband at any time? Because your girl lonely, God. I'm getting kind of hot. Like, what you want me to do? But I can't. I know that I still have stuff that I have to work on and get accomplished, because the thing is, whatever the woman I am now is going to be the woman I am in that relationship. So am I ready to prepare and give all of this to a man? Not quite yet. I still have to work on my temper. I still have to work on my patience. I still have to work on cleanliness. I still have to work on just a schedule, financial. It's not like things are going to be perfect when I get into a relationship, but I don't want to go into things not knowing, and this is just me speaking for myself, I don't want to go into anything not knowing and not being fully prepared when I know there's some things that I can fix, because every man not going to be able to, I don't want to say not gonna be able to, but may not want to handle your attitude, So there's some things that you just have to fix, and that's just something small, but some things you have to fix before you actually get into a relationship. So if you are single, enjoy your time being single and let God speak to you, and prepare you for what He has for you, and stop trying to show yourself approved to everyone, because everyone is not supposed to see who you are. And that's just that's just relationships. And let me see, what did I put down? This was another good point that I came up with. It looks a lot of people, I think I was saying it with the people who were together 10 or 15 years, they look like you're comfortable. It looks like you're comfortable, but you're really uncomfortable, because every time you get around other people, you compare your relationship to them. Ooh, they married. How come we ain't married? But at home, you comfortable. And to them, you say, oh, we comfortable. We don't have to get married. We don't got to do this. But every time you go around people who you feel are in a different season as you compare your relationship. And I want people to realize, I hope I'm not going all over the place, but I want people to realize that marriage, and this is, I've been watching this Michael Todd series on relationship goals, and one of the ladies, he had a different, on the stage, a panel of different people, a young lady single, a man single, divorcees who got married again, a woman who lost her husband. It was just so many different people on the stage, so you got to hear a conversation about relationship goals from people who was 37 years into marriage, to people who were 2 years into marriage, to people who were still in the dating or engagement stage. So it was a beautiful segment. If you can watch it. If you have time, look him up on YouTube, Michael Todd. I think it's Elevation Church, but whatever it is, I know it's relationship goals series. It's eight videos. But it was a woman on there who said, marriage isn't a reward for doing something good, and singleness isn't a punishment for doing something bad. And I think sometimes where that comparison comes in from is that a lot of married people want people who are single to act like they're single. Their marriage, that ring that they received, is a reward. And I got the ring, and you don't. Sometimes, and it's not all married people, but a lot of married people try to belittle you or make you feel a certain kind of way, or you may feel a certain certain kind of way because you're not strong in your relationship. You don't have a foundation. Some of you know that you're not going to get the ring. So when they say stuff like that, it bothers you. But nonetheless, just know who you are, and knowing just being single is not a punishment. I know for a fact that the moment that I got saved, I became a wife. I no longer became a single mother. On the outside, you see me, a woman with 2 kids by myself, but spiritually, I'm a wife. My husband is out there somewhere looking sexy, waiting for me to get together, honey, and get himself together. I ain't even gonna put it all on myself. But we have to believe and think like that. We can't base our thoughts and relationships off of what how other people are living, because some people with that ring, they're miserable, but because they have that ring and you don't, they hold themselves up to a higher standard than you are, then trying to make you feel a certain way. I also put, I said this already, I didn't invite God into my relationship until it was already started and having problems. Invite God into your relationship before you even get into a relationship. Invite God into yourself before you even start anywhere else. That's what you have to do. Invite God into you before you meet someone else. Oh, this is my favorite one. Do I love him, or do I love the reflection of who I am? Do I love him, or do I love the reflection of who I am right now? Because he's reflecting. Do you love him, or do you love that he's reflecting who you currently are in your relationship? So eventually, because y'all not supposed to be together, he gonna go past you, or you gonna go past him, or he's gonna get tired. Something's gonna happen, because he's reflecting who you are right now. But once you find your purpose, and if you take the time out, and I've been single for a while. I've been single, honestly, since 2011. Haven't been in a relationship that I haven't talked to anyone. But I've been single for a while. So yeah, I was like, God, speed things up. But in that process, I had to come through my brokenness, and I didn't come through my brokenness until about 4 years ago, going on 5 years. So, I want to rush. At one point, I wanted to rush stuff. I wanted to rush things, but I had to build myself, because the men that I was coming across were a reflection of who I was at that point. I would look back after I talked, like, I can't believe I talked to him, but I was broken. He was not. I would never talk to this person again, because they don't represent who I am as a woman. So if you can get to a place before you just give yourself freely to someone, because once you allow a man to enter you, that's a piece of you that you can't get back. So before you enter into something, allow God to show you who your purpose, or show you who you are. Help find your worth and your value before you start settling for someone who is not even supposed to be. He was supposed to be a walk past. You're supposed to walk, hey, how you doing? But you like, no, I'm lonely. Come on over here and give me your number, Charles. I don't know who Charles is, but whatever. That's it. But we have to, I want someone who reflects who I am now, which is a loving woman of God, and a mother, a beautiful wife waiting for a husband with 2 children or whatever, and a business. I want a businesswoman. I want someone to meet me in my growth of who I am now. Not who I was. Not one person I talked to in my past reflect who I am now. And that says a lot. But that's because I had a lot of voids that I was trying to get filled. And I was trying to be seen by people who didn't deserve me. Stop showing yourself to everybody, and stop pouring yourself out to everybody, because it doesn't work like that. I wanted to read this scripture about love. And it just blesses me. And this is oh crap, I didn't take it. I think it's 1 Corinthians 13. This is the Message version. This is verses 3 through 7. I'm just going to read briefly. It says, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut, doesn't have a swelled head, doesn't force itself on others. Isn't always me first, doesn't fly off the handle, doesn't keep score of sins of others, doesn't reveal when others grovel. So there's so many things. Taking pleasure in the flowering of the truth, put up with anything. But the point that I wanted to make is where it says, love doesn't force itself on others. Stop forcing your love on other people. Some people just don't deserve who you are. Some people don't deserve. I love hard. I know I do. And all is there some cousins, aunts, uncles, moms, dads, family members, friends, men that don't deserve how much I love, because when I love you, I love you. I know I love hard, and that's because of the love I didn't have in the past. Oh, and I'm not going to say, well, that's something I'm working on. Yeah, it could be, but for my husband, that would be a good thing, But for people who, and my children, that's a good thing. And my friends who I know are my friends, that's a good thing. But for people who didn't deserve me, it was too much. Sometimes your love can be too much because you're giving 100% of your love, and you dealing with somebody who's only taking in about 10% of that because they don't see it. So that's where you have to find somebody of love that reflects your love. And I just we will pick up the pieces and put together what we feel is good and to fill our voids. And I guess I kind of already elaborated on that a few times about self-approved and God-approved, and we all know that we should be having people that's God-approved, but we definitely need to start filling our like a pothole. Let's, for instance, when they do the roads. I know up north it happens a lot when in Youngstown. Being in Youngstown in the wintertime or throughout the summer after the snow is gone, we have a lot of potholes, and so they come and fill them. And every time they just fill the holes, I'm like, oh, all they doing is making these roads more bumpy. Like please, I pay taxes, fix these roads. So going on a road that's filled, that hasn't been redone, the potholes just have been filled, versus going on a road that had potholes, but the whole road was taken up, and then the tar was put down, and then they repaved the road. Those are two different types of road. When you fill it with something that shouldn't be there, that's a temporary fix. But when you actually dig up things and remove things, it's smoother, and that's us. We'll fill our potholes, we'll fill our voids with anything. We'll take it with drugs, sex, men, whatever we need, love from anyone. We'll take it anywhere, or whatever. We'll take it from anywhere, I should say, from anything. We shouldn't do that, because we're better than that. God created us in His image, and I know He's not filled with any of that stuff. Our body, and I had to learn this, is a temple. It's sacred. Like, you giving this thing up to people, you save yourself. People just don't take sex as serious as they should. There's soul ties connected to the people that you have sex with. When you angry and you depressed and you having suicidal thoughts and you don't know what is going on, the thoughts that's going on, the dreams that you have, and that's because of you having temptation. That's because of whoever you had sex with is fighting those same things. Like, he done brought them things to you. You never used to be so angry in your life, and now all of a sudden you're doing things you never did before. That's because the person that you had sex with and got into you and then messed your mind up. So that's why you can't easily just give yourself to people. But if you save yourself for your husband, y'all become one, and there isn't any soul ties. But that's another segment that I'm hoping to get a dear friend of mine to speak with me about. I think it's not that I think I guess I think it's not just relationships when it comes to men or women that we can have try to fill voids with. It can be a mother or a father. And I know for myself, kind of from the background that I came from, that I wanted to be seen from my mom. And that took me through the ringer trying to show her that I was a good daughter. I used to go broke, and I'm not going to put my mom out there because my mom has a lot of she's had her problems. She's been through some things, but I will say when I needed my mom, she has been there. But, prior to me getting saved and seeing, like, I just wanted her to love me. And I know the Bible says honor thy mother and thy father, but that was hard to do. But now that's all I do, because I know I have shown myself to her, and I know that showed my vulnerability to her. And guess what? I have gotten hurt. So now I will honor and I will respect her, but I will keep some things. I have to keep some things hidden from her. And just give it to God. I'm not gonna say hidden and keep deep, because then I'm keeping that pain within myself. No, I just know how to deal with my mom at times, or even my father, who I was the man who I believe is my father. There's some things that I used to want from him to be like a father, or whatever, to call and talk to and get opinions from. Like, what about him, Dad? Because I never had those conversations ever. You know, and that's something that I've always wanted, to sit down and you meet my dad, and he actually, can I take Tiffany's hand in marriage? Yes, yes, take it. Yes, please take her. She get on my nerves. You know, so I just always wanted that. So I would be, hey, can you see me? Can you, I'm your daughter. Can you see me? Here's some money. Here's some groceries. Here a gift. Here, I'll do this for you. Come out, I'm take you out to dinner. Here. And with all of that here, nothing ever changed. Nothing. Here, I love you. Nothing ever changed within those relationships that to my mom. You know, eventually, some things our relationship is getting better because of my spiritual growth, and how one thing I truly believe, a person will treat you how you allow them to treat you. And when you put up that block of, you're not going to treat me like this, then, you either going to change, or you're not going to deal with me or whatever. So I think that's where me and my mom is at. Like, I love her to pieces. No one will ever take her place. Like, I've always have loved my mom. I remember being in foster care. One of my foster moms said, like, in foster care, usually you have kids who either love your mom or they hate their mom. You love your mom. And that's always because growing up, I just never had that motherly love. And if I wanted the motherly love, the woman I wanted it from was my mom. So when I finally got her back in my life, I'm like, well, I automatically went into a mother-daughter relationship, and she wasn't ready for that, So we just have to learn how to, once again, stop going out even from people who we expect to have love from and expect to have voids filled from. We're not always going to get it. So sometimes we have to stop looking for once again, those voids to be filled. Allow God to fill you with the fruits of the Spirit. Allow God to fill you. It says love God and no one else, and then love thy neighbor. Love self before you love anyone else. If you can't, those are the biggest commandments. Those are the greater commandments or whatever. It's your love. Have agape love. Love God how he loves the church or whatever. And if you can do that, then you can conquer anything. And the last thing is just basically friends and family, which I kind of already touched on. I'm sorry if I keep bowing my head, but what I basically already touched on. But me, from my background, I came in automatically wanting friendships, these cousinships with my cousins, because I have so many of them. So I wanted to build relationships, but they were, even with my friends, the friends I've had for years, they probably don't know this. So, where you go? I used to feel like a third wheel because I was in Ohio. Then I came to Florida. I went to Florida in Ohio. So when I used to come back, they had all these bonds and stuff. I missed out on big parts of my friends' lives or whatever. So I felt like my other friends had more or were closer than certain people than I was, because I wasn't there to experience a lot of these great things with them, and they would sit and talk about it. I'm like, but I had to get over that, and I had to know who my friends are, and know that they're not like that. And that once I saw that, I'm like, okay, Tiffany, that's just you tripping. But I used to, in my friendships, try to grasp on the people and show them that I was a good friend. But once again, like in every other segment that we spoke about, some people don't deserve every part of you. Some people don't deserve an ounce of you. So stop giving people pieces of you that they shouldn't. Some people are literally just people that you should just say hi and bye to, but instead, because we're lonely and because we need these voids filled, we just pick up on any kinds of friendships or whatever. Stop. I mean, I'll say this and then I'll be done. If you find love for yourself, and then you can truly look at the person and the friends that you with and see a reflection of pieces of you and them, then good, go ahead. But if you can't, then you still have time to grow. Don't settle because you feel like you have to meet certain requirements. Because I felt like, well, I'm 32, I want to have kids, I want to buy a house, well, I want to have more kids, I should be married, I should have all of this stuff done. My life is just now starting. And one thing I've learned is faith can change time. We live by time. My God doesn't live by time. So stop setting certain requirements, expectations for yourself. When you don't meet them, you feel like a failure. Because you're not. This is life. This is a part of it. Have faith and know that God will change you and put you in place where you're supposed to be. And stop settling. Stop giving up yourself so easy. be more than what you see on the outside. I had to go take every picture off almost a lot of pictures, angles, every picture, a lot of pictures, I got a mustache, off my Facebook, because a lot of them was with me turned to the side showing this behind that that I got from my mom. And I when I was watching, I think Juanita Bynum, I was watching her, and she was speaking about, like, that's all you worth, you up there preaching and you doing this, and men can't pay attention. And I know, we have curves, and men, they gonna look whatever she was saying. We human, but I'm human with some respect, and everybody don't feel like just because you cover up, that don't mean you have respect for yourself, or there's other ways you can show respect. I don't know. All I know is I'm more than a booty picture. I'm more than talking about my vagina on Facebook. I'm more than just a good vagina, because and I'm just being real, because I've heard conversations about women talking about how good their vagina was, like it was going to keep something, like it was going to do something. A real man, he'll love that. I'm pointing down, but you can't see that. He'll love that area, but most of all, he'll love who you are as a woman, especially a woman of God. And I can't say, well, just a woman, because God is real. So it's going to be a woman. He'll love the woman of God. He'll love what's in you that comes on the outside, not just what he can put inside, what he's feeling when he goes inside of you. It's two different types of men. Find the one that fits, who reflects you. And find your self-worth and your value and some respect, and stop always showing what you feel like you're worth. What you feel like you're worth when you actually worth is two different things. Cover up. Now that I'm covered by I finally covered up once I got covered by God. And it wasn't an automatic change. I felt convicted at times when I used to wear some stuff. I used to feel uncomfortable, and I still do, because right now I'm going through a transition of financially, where I haven't been able to provide for myself as I used to. So I'm like, I got to wear this until I get it. But when I get myself together, my wardrobe will definitely reflect the woman that I've grown into. But just know that you're worth it. You're loved. If you don't love yourself, you will never love anyone else. And know that I love you. And this is Tiffany with my prayer closet. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment. Bye.